I bet you have seen at least one guy at the gym who just goes there consistently for like years, maybe even decades. He trains hard, it just seems like he does everything right, but for some reason, he just uses the same fucking weights on every single training session. Bro, how fucking sad that is. I will basically sacrifice today's video to explain what I believe is the main reason of why sometimes that happens and what you can do to just make sure you never end up in such situation. You just always make steady progress forward, even as an advanced lifter. Because if we're not constantly progressing, bro, strength training just loses like half of the fun component. And besides that, if you don't progress to heavier weights over time, your hypertrophy will also massively plateau because there will be just no major progressive overload happening there. Your body will just adapt to the specific weights you're using and it will just not produce any more adaptations. So generally there are quite a lot of reasons why plateaus might be happening. I've made a whole video about it. You can watch it, it's right here or here. But assuming you do the basics right, you train hard and you are consistent, these are literally the basics, I believe there is one major reason why plateaus often happen for even experienced lifters. And it is basically the lack of variety. I know, pretty unsexy answer, but trust me, there's really a lot to it. And if you sacrifice a few of your precious minutes to watch this video, I will do my best to explain this concept fully for you and simply, so hopefully you will be just able to manage the concept of variety in your training effectively for the rest of your life. So let's begin. Most people have definitely heard about the popular saying that in order to build strength, you need to do reps of 3 to 5, maybe 1 to 3. So to simplify everything, let's say in order to build strength, you need to do 1 to 5 rep range. Basically just always operate in that rep range. Now, it's obvious that there are a lot of people at the gym who just want to get stronger. Even if their initial motivation was building muscle, just stepping into the gym and seeing all of the guys lifting heavy weights also makes a lot of people just want to be strong, to be able to get that status of being strong. Say whatever you want, but if you are deadlifting 5 plates at the gym, just everyone will look at you. This is just the truth. If you think about it, every single productive thing you do in your life comes back to getting more status. So it's a very powerful driving force for sure. And obviously I believe it's completely nothing wrong with that. If you work really hard for something and you finally achieve it, I believe it's completely fine to like share that achievement with as many people as possible. Like there's nothing wrong with that. The only people that will hate you for that are the ones who are too lazy to achieve something themselves. However, we are slightly getting off topic right here. As you might have noticed, many of the people who train for strength just do reps of 3, reps of 5. They often max out because, as I said, it's well known that working in the lower rep ranges is the best for strength. And obviously it is. Obviously I'm not disagreeing with it. Working in the lower rep ranges will improve your strength. But there is one caveat. If you are a beginner, just working in the lower rep ranges will probably get you to like 2 or maybe even 3 plate bench press, like 4 plate deadlift. But going above that requires something more from you. And it's really confusing. Some people always train in the lower rep ranges. For example, when they are a beginner, they achieve a 2 plate bench press, but then a massive stagnation happens. And what's really confusing is they keep training these lower rep ranges, hoping that they finally improve their numbers, but after some time the stagnation just stays there, so they naturally get unmotivated. And for example, they change their goal, they start training more bodybuilding style, so high volume, low intensity, because they are like, fuck that bench, it's not improving, so let's focus on something we can actually improve in, like building more muscle mass. And if they focus on that, suddenly their strength in bench press skyrockets. So that's really weird, that's really strange at the first sight. So what exactly happens here? Why so many people get stuck with their strength while training for these lower rep ranges, and some people get unstuck when they switch to higher rep ranges? Just note that most people, they never switch to higher rep ranges, so that is why there are people who train for like 10 fucking years and lift the same weights all the time. So in order to explain this concept to you, let me show you the strength training pyramid. I've basically learned this concept from Alexander Bromley's book. He is also an amazing YouTuber. If you are interested in strength training programming and stuff like that, you should definitely watch him on YouTube. And yeah, as you can see, the graph shows you a simple pyramid for maximizing strength. And the natural law of physics is that the broader the foundation of the pyramid, the higher the peak can be. And the peak just represents your like maximum strength. So let's first discuss what is that base of that pyramid precisely. What's that exactly? How you can broaden it. So as you can see from the photo, the base is the amount of muscle mass, the technique of your lift, which is the same thing as coordination, and the endurance. Basically these three things. And if you look at it, those are a very non-specific things. If you were to like strive for the highest 1 rep max deadlift as you possibly can, working on these things would probably be like pretty weird because they are so non-specific. But please just watch this video, it will make sense in a minute. So if those are the qualities you need to improve in order to make the base wider, how do we exactly do that? Basically, you guessed it, through high volume and low intensity training. Basically like bodybuilding kind of training. Just banging out a lot of weekly volume. This is just the way. And on the other hand, what is that peak of the pyramid precisely? This is basically your specific strength. It could be just the 1 rep max strength for your chosen lifts. So for example, if you really want to get good at powerlifting, the peak of that pyramid would be just 1 rep max strength with the exactly the same variation, exactly the same bar, tempo, everything with your free lift, bench press, squat and the deadlift. So naturally the way to work on that peak would be to exactly replicate the conditions of a competition in your training sessions. So literally doing like sets of 1 with exactly the same variables. This would be the way to work on the tip of that pyramid. So in order to improve your peak, you just basically work with low volumes and high intensity. And obviously pyramids not only have peaks and bases, they also have the middle. So what is the middle of the pyramid? Basically it's what's between those two things. I call it strength building, and it's basically working with medium volume and medium intensity. So as we already learned, just working on the top of our pyramid won't make it higher, it won't increase our strength unless the base we have is like nice and broad. And despite that, that's exactly what so many people at the gym repeatedly try to do. They repeatedly work stubbornly in these lower rep ranges in the hope of like making that peak a little bit higher. But they just don't have a broad base, so that is like literally impossible for them. And no matter how hard and how long they will try, they won't be able to get much stronger. It's literally like hitting a brick wall with your head. So I really hope that concept I just explained you will be helpful in your training. If you really listened to what I said, or at least you glanced over the images, I really believe it will help you in your training. I really believe you won't have to experience these longs and brutal plateaus that so many people go through, and it's really not fun. When it comes to the specific information on how exactly we can build each part of the pyramid, that is exactly what my next video will be about. It's called periodization. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, it will drop in a few days. I basically have a mission to help people who are obsessed with strength training make as much progress in as little time as possible. Because I experienced firsthand how much that changes your life. And if I can help someone make as much progress as I did in like half the time, bro, you don't even realize how happy would that make me. So thank you for watching again, and peace out. See you in the next one.